All right, we are live. Here's the question of today's topic. When is a song ready to be shared? Now, that can be, that's a tough question. You write a song, okay? I know if you're like me, if you've written a few songs in your life, if you're like me, you've written probably a zillion songs in your life. And at some point, the question comes to, all right, when do you share that? And there's kind of a cascade of events that take place that you will go through to where, let's be clear about something. You can share a song in many different ways. You can share a song with, a loved one. Could be your spouse, could be a brother, a sister, a parent, whatever, good friend. You could share a song with a band member. If you're in a band, let's say you write a song and you go, all right, well, when is it time to sort of let that go, let the band see it? You could share a song, as many people do, on social media, whether that be on Facebook, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's in Instagram, in which we'll see prolific songwriters releasing songs all the time. And then on another level, we can see, all right, you can release a song professionally. Okay, so this is something that is going to be ready for an album release. This is something that is going to be press ready. This is something that could be released to radio. And so there are a lot of different options on when you share a song. So maybe there's a little bit of a distinction between sharing a song as opposed to releasing a song. All right. Now, if you hadn't gotten this, my name's Ken Kunin. This is On Song International. I suppose I probably should have announced that. And working with some technology right now. If someone is there, can you make a comment so I know that you're there? Oh, well, there we go. Now I can see that someone is there. Morning, only you should have opened the future stream for the page. Okay. Anyways, I believe that I'm alive and live. So, okay, partner Keith Blair is in the house. We know that he's there. All right. So let's talk about this process. You've written a song, and the song is now written. You've been in your bedroom. If you're like me, you've annoyed family members because you've been playing this song for an hour, 2 hours straight, and it's time to get going. Now, before I want to play a song for anyone, first things first. Is the content of the song, is it clear? All right, so let's talk about it from a lyrical perspective. When you wrote the song, and if the lyric is important, and let's be honest, for some people, the lyric is more important to others. Some people, it's about just rhyme scheme and a feel. Me, I want to make sure that when someone actually listens to a song from beginning to end, that it's clear what I'm talking about. What do you think? I'm curious of your opinions. How important, and I'm going to put out different questions along this video log. How important is the lyric to you? Are you more geared towards, hey, as long as it sounds good and it's catchy, or does there have to be a specific message? So that's something that I'm real curious to have people answer. Okay, so that's the first thing. So you know what the meaning, you know what the message of the song is. All right, when you got that sorted, and I think that's why sometimes starting with a title is a really critical part of a song, because if you have a title, if you have a hook and a chorus, and usually that title is part of that hook and the chorus, then you have that direction that you can start a first verse and you have a beginning and an end. If it was a story or if it was a movie, would you have a rising tension? Is there a point in the song where it's like, okay, two people meet, lots of fireworks, everything's going well, and then someone discovers something about another person. And are they going to last? Are they going to go further? So, hard to say. So those are things that I think are worthwhile before you even considering sharing a song. You're in that writing process to make sure that every part of your song has direction. And oh, hello, Emily Elkins. Hey, very nice to see you. I love your smiley face. So we're talking about constructing a song to the point to where you're lucky, you're happy to share it. So is your central meaning there? Are your verses and choruses are they lined up to the point that you're happy with? Meaning, is every part of the song as good as each other? If the chorus feels to you like, all right, this is a banging chorus, are your verses as good? Do you have an instrumental part? Do you have a bridge? So this is all about song construction. All right. I think that all those things have to be in place before you're actually going to go out for anyone. So in my case, and this is just a personal thing, I'll often play it for my wife and daughter. They give me some pretty objective criticism. If I know they like it because I can hear they'll start humming along, and they'll actually say, "Stop playing that song. I can't get it out of my head." That's when I know I'm on the way. Now, the next stage is, all right, so let's say you've written a song and you're pretty happy about it. All right, from there's usually social media is a really constant place, whether that's on Instagram, whether that's on Facebook. Then it's like, okay, if you recorded this song, and even if it's a phone video, you want to ask, is it ready? Are you comfortable? Do you know the material really, really well? And, needless to say, if you're not comfortable with the song, or you're still learning the parts, maybe it's not ready to actually share it with. I'm always under the impression that you get one chance to make a first impression. And I think that that's the case with a song. I think that that's the case if you're an artist that is trying to get the attention of not only fans, but to record labels, to management companies, etc. If you're not really secure on the song, hey, harmony, nice to have you with us. If you're not really secure with the way that you're playing, then don't record it, or record it and use it as practice. But I think that when you actually put it out there into this huge world, this huge internet world that is so expansive, that you better be able to pretend that camera, that lens right there is your audience, okay? And you should be comfortable like you were doing a gig. You should get to that point where, all right, if you're playing piano or you're playing guitar, that all of your playing is fluid, that you're vocally, you know that it is within the realm of range. Hey, folks that are listening, what are your thoughts? Just a quick stop right here. Ask me a question or give me an idea of when you think that a song, let's just start with social media, is ready to actually unleash on social media. So I'm really curious to sort of see what you think in terms of, okay, yeah, it's cool. I'm happy to bust this out on my Facebook page or my Instagram page or here on YouTube. So first person that puts a comment, I'm going to smile and say thank you. All right. I'll be waiting on that. In the meantime, so I think that that's the first level is, all right, you get to that point where you're playing it for friends, you're playing it for family members, you're then releasing it on social media. I think the upside of releasing something on social media is that the response is instantaneous. I've written enough songs and put out enough songs to know that, hey, wow, even with an acoustic guitar and a vocal, that seemed to have piqued people's interest more for one song than another. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. But again, what do you think? So that's kind of like round one. But again, if you are trying to win over fans and you put something out and you know what, you're not singing it as well as you can, or you're uncertain of your words, then that might be a case where you weren't quite ready to go out there. Now, let's say that you've gotten the song out there and people seem to like it. At that point, I often will introduce that song to a band. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Emily, we got finally a question. I can stop talking and I can start chatting with someone. All right, when does the message of the story? Oh, it's just gone off the screen. Emily, can you just put that up one more time? I think there was something along the lines of story, but it just sort of came and went. So if you'd be kind enough to just repeat that one time, Emily, and I will get directly to it. In the meantime, I'll talk about stuff with the band. I think that when I know that if I'm introducing music to other musicians, I'm going to have a really good idea of sonically what it's going to sound like. You know, what's the groove going to be doing in terms of, all right, here we go. When the message or story comes across, kind of like writing a story, needs to have a middle, climax, and conclusion. Totally agree. And Emily, I think that is where all storytelling starts. It's kind of neat. You can start a story. I think to write a song, and which is often delivered in 3 or 4 minutes, that you have to be very specific as to where it's going and where the rising tension may be. I think a lot of people, they might pick up a guitar and they go, oh, right, yeah, this is kind of a cool little feel that I have. Oh, it's a minor key, and I think that it was a dark, stormy night, and I walked outside, and the sky was, had a certain aura to it. That's all well and good, but before you go and you release that song, what's going to happen? How's it going to end? Is there a twist? Those are things that always interest me, and I don't think that lines should be throwaway lines. But that's my opinion. My bass player in my band, he straight out goes, I never listen to lyrics. All he listens to is groove, and does get his ass moving, and does it take him to a cool sonic place. So different people, they are listening for different things. I think as a songwriter, though, it's a different story. So I know as far as sharing a song to a band, as we were alluding to before, it comes down to, okay, you have to have an idea in your mind. And again, this could be something that a producer or an engineer does more than a songwriter. But I think that the songwriter, particularly if you're going to sing it and play, you should have a pretty good idea of, all right, this is the tempo, this is the groove. And when you got that in place, then the song's going to develop a bit more cohesively. The other thing is regarding social media is Millie and Ashley. Oh, agree with Emily. Yeah, I think Emily's spot on. I think that people are sick of sort of songs that are a bit vacuous, that are unleading. I think that for a person to be really struck and affected, I think that there has to be emotional content, and I think that goes along with the storyline. And I think that things in terms of when you share something, it's at what level. Okay, so you got a social media level, and that can be, okay, I can confidently and competently release a song, whether that's SoundCloud or whether that's a live thing. But then when you get to that stage where you go, okay, you know what? I've put out this song, and maybe I've done a demo of the song, and people are getting into it. I want to go into a recording studio, and I want to record it. All right, that's the next level of commitment, isn't it? Because now you've got to reach into your pocket. You have a wealthy sugar daddy, fund it. And when you are at that stage where there's that commitment to go, okay, not only do I like the way that I wrote this song, and either as a solo artist or as a band performing that song really well, that I'm going to get to that point where, all right, we're in the studio. And here's the thing about a studio is because it's expensive, when it's expensive, you want to make sure that you are prepared. And my partner makes a really good point about a song being ready when you enjoy playing it over and over again, and you can tell that an audience wants to hear it over and over again. Hey, Tam, hello. Tam, where are you from, out of curiosity? Tam Bear, thank you for joining us. What part of the world? We're in Brisbane, Australia. Where's Tam from? Tam's, Rockstar. Hey, Rockstar, where are you from? I'm trying to get a little sense of where people are, and we're talking about when a song's ready to be released. Foul Fish? Hello. People, announce yourselves and tell us what part of the world. Oh, Washington. Fantastic. Okay, Washington State. Rockstar, that's my hometown, California. Emily, you're in Ohio. All right, Emily, I grew up, my parents, they went to University of Michigan, and their biggest rivals were Ohio State. That's one thing. I've been to a lot of states, I've toured a lot, but I've never been in Ohio. Oh, all right, that's where Falfish is in New Hampshire. No? Buckeyes, haha. So you grew up a slight Michigan fan. They had a good marching band. Go to the Rose Bowl. That was good. All right. Let's get back to, yes, I'm going to be here, Keith, of course, next week. Okay, let's get back to you're in the studio. Okay, we're talking about when do you release music. And you know what? You got this song, and the song is badass, and you're hitting all the emotional buttons. And, Humble Bones. All right. You're from Humble. I was down south. I'm from Los Angeles. But I've been here in Brisbane, Australia for 15 years. But I will be back in California in about end of September. Mom's turning 80. Isn't that a nice, sweet story? Hi, Harmony. And all right, on track in terms of you're in the studio. Okay. Now, before you release anything, guess what you have besides having an unbelievable song, and you have to have a performance that kills. You also have to make sure that your mix is there. Because, and here's the thing about mixing, this is a really big thing that people overlook that haven't made a lot of records. You got to make sure that you have a mix that works well across lots of different platforms. So a lot of times people go in a studio for the first time and they're like, sweet, look at all these knobs and the speakers, and you got these great acoustics, and you got these big speakers, and they're just bang, 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 and everything is sounding big as a mountain. It sounds great. But the question is it going to sound good in your car? Is it going to sound good on with your iBuds? Is it going to transfer? Okay, a lot of people listen to computers, listen to music on computers on their monitors. So that is why a good mix is really important. But before you get to that point to where you're mixing, you got to make sure that everything's tracked well, then it's mixed well, then you're still not ready to release that sucker. That's when mastering comes in. Now, how many people, anyone here that's listening right now, have you released any records? Yes or no? Okay, I feel like I could get the Jeopardy theme music going. Dum, bum, 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 bum. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But these are some things to think about if you're about to release something, is that if you're going to do it on a professional basis, Emily, question for you. Are you a songwriter? Or are you more just a fan of music? Because to me, like, I know that some of the things that I'm addressing now, I wish I could go back. I'm not going to say how many years, because that might date how old of a bastard I actually am. But it's really important. Yeah, okay. Got a lot of your music. Awesome. And are you thinking about putting out an album at some point? Hello, Hazels. Don't forget that. Oh, yeah, Hazel, good point. Please, people, hit that like button and make sure that you subscribe. Hazel, I need people like you around me. Yeah, you keep everyone in tune. Okay, only got 5 songs finished before that band broke up. All right, Foul Fish. Use that period of time of when you are in the mode of trying to actually get ready to form a band again. Make that your time to actually write a whole bunch of the best material that you've ever written in your life. You know, that is a really important thing. And when you're getting ready to, as Keith, who, whenever you see On Song International come up, that's my mate Keith. He's saying that you got to make sure that you are really happy with anything, even if it is a 30-second clip on Instagram, that you're content with it. The nice thing is you can record something, you can listen back to it, you can watch the performance many times before you put it out there. So you have that at your disposal. You can put it out there. And I suppose to a certain degree you can also you can also take things away. So I've done that sometimes. I've released a song and I thought, you know what? I didn't pick up the fact that the tempo wasn't tip top. And okay, delete it and put it again. There we go. 2 homemade pizzas and my kid. Oh, homemade pizzas. Wow. Topping's ideal of perfection that they never release anything. They never share anything. And here's the thing. I mean, this is, yeah, I think this is a nice little touch on the pizza there too. I think that you can look at music, and I'll give you a couple different examples. You can look at music like a band like Steely Dan that used to release the most unbelievable studio albums. Every last note, everything was timed out to perfection. And put it seldomly, they took their time. You can look at someone like Neil Young, who could pick up a guitar on a night, call up a recording studio, and it was all about feel and emotion. Bottom line is this: is if you don't write them, then no one's going to hear them, and if you don't perform them, no one's going to hear it. So it's that fine line. It's that middle ground of, you know what? Here's a cool tune. I've taken my time to produce it in the way that I want to produce it, and now it's ready to actually release. This is cool. This is where we should probably do a subtitle on this, Keith, is we got music and food, two things that I'm very passionate about, all in one in one video. All right, couple other points about social media, because I think that that's where most people release their music these days. When you're on social media, if you write a song and you're proud of it and you're stoked and you want to share it, particularly with YouTube, you got to make sure that things like hashtags and titles. And in fact, it's been told to me that the first 20 seconds of what you're saying or what you're singing, that if you integrate that into, yeah, I'm hungry too. If you integrate the title with some of the first 20 words, for whatever reason, YouTube tends to get better viewership. So when you're putting something out there, be very specific on your title. Make sure to take the time to do hashtags. Make sure that you have a thumbnail that is appropriate to the song that you're putting out. Because at the end of the day, people will, when they're doing a search and they say, yeah, new music, folk singer, whatever, and if thumbnail isn't really appealing, she brought this in. If the thumbnail itself doesn't represent what the video is really well, then unfortunately, because people are a little bit vacuous and they're not going to delve deep, they just go next without actually having a moment to look at that. So I've got a little cheat sheet here. I want to get someone. I want a good question in terms of songwriting and how it relates to when do you feel comfortable of sharing a song. So the people that are listening right now, who's the first person that you typically play a song for? All right, come on. We got some songwriters out there. So I want to know, in your opinion or in your past, who is the first person that you will share a song with once you're happy with it? And I think that that's the big once you're happy with it. Okay? Anyone out there with a thought? The first person that you share, is it a friend? Is it a family member? Is it another musician? Or is it straight out? So it's an interesting thing. I think that sometimes it's pretty good to actually share it to someone that is very honest, even if they're a little bit brutal, because if they make you see something differently, and that's provided that they have good impact. All right, I'm reading Hazel's. All right, so interesting, Hazel. Yeah, isn't it funny how such a all right, Nick, you like to bounce it off Instagram. Years to start to share that with people. And you came out of your shell. Nick, what was your response? What was your feeling the first time that you actually released something on Instagram? Was your heart pounding? Just for the sheer fact that it didn't make a difference whether one person or a million people were going to see it. I want to know, Nick, whether you were freaking out the first time that you actually put a song on Instagram. That's always kind of interesting to me, because I think that even a star, I think that even someone that is a very experienced musician, anytime that they let a song go, whoosh, it's out there. It's like, holy shit, I just actually shared a piece of my soul And are people going to get it? Are they going to respond to it? Are they going to be passionate about it? And that is always an interesting thing, because it's such an immediate response. Back in the day, and my day sort of when I started releasing music started in the 1990s. The process was different. You would go in, and I was usually as a songwriter for bands. The process was, okay, yeah, you write songs, band rehearses, jams a whole bunch of songs, and yeah, and I think that people do feel the same. And anyways, you would release something. Well, I'm just gonna get on Nick here. Stuck on a loop of recording, not releasing. So it's a good exercise, just getting that stuff there. Okay, and since you've done it, and I actually, Nick, we're mates on Instagram. I know a couple different Nicks, and I'm looking through a phone. If this is the Nick that I think it is, this guy's an unbelievable guitar player and writes some absolutely beautiful guitar music. And you need to follow his journey. Nick, why don't you put your Instagram moniker, because this guy actually releases a song every day, people. Okay, and he's really special. What I love about Nick's music is the fact that he throws in so many different textures with one of these, an acoustic guitar, and I'm sure he also plays the hell out of an electric guitar, but most of the things that he puts out are an acoustic. But so Nick and I, we're in a similar, Nick's also in Brisbane, if I got the right Nick, and so probably travel a little bit. And all right, sorry, I'm swaying back and forth. Stay focused. So old days, 90s, you'd write a song, you'd bring it to a band. Band would go in and go, yep, Secret Songs Music. Everyone that's checking this out, make sure that you check out Nick Warren, Secret Songs Music, _ between songs and music on Instagram. Okay, he's fantastic. We'd go in, we'd maybe do a cheap demo first. You'd go find the cheapest recording studio, and you'd make these demos, and the demos were then shopped to record labels. And the idea was you try to get a demo deal or you try to get a recording deal. And if you did, then the record label would go, all right, yeah, terrific, here's X amount of money, we want to hear what it sounds like in a proper recording studio. And if they liked it, they released it. Now, pretty much from the 90s onwards, though, music became a little bit more affordable to record, and because of the internet, particularly in the late 90s, early 2000s, people could release stuff online. But there was still this is back in the day when actually people bought products where radio was really important. So in terms of release, you'd go, all right, yeah, that sounds like the single. And you would want to make sure that that song was mixed absolutely beautifully. You'd want to make sure that sonically it had to be. You'd want to make sure that it sounded good in your car, that it sounded good on what we used to call ghetto blasters, or these are basically tape recorders with a couple of good-sized speakers before you actually put them out there. Now, you could go record a song today. You could mix it tomorrow. You could find someone online to master it the next day. You could go hang out with some friends and create a music video tomorrow. You could create your own press release the day after, and next week you could release a song. Is that the way that I would go about it in that kind of hurry? No. But the point is that it's available, that people can actually do that. So today, if nothing else, I want to just chat about, okay, cool. So when is it right to be shared? And I think that once we break down the fact that sharing it has a lot of different possibilities, from friends and family members to the social community which we're a part of, and which I hope that you guys will spread the word about what we're doing at On Song, because again, this isn't a shameless promotion. We're about discovery of different songwriters that have something that's cool, that's genuine, that's unique, that is soulful and passionate, and we want to create the audience for it. But we also want to have a community of songwriters that can bounce ideas against each other. So what I'm really hopeful of, and if you guys can do now, is in the upcoming weeks, we're going to have different live shows What are topics in terms of songwriting and the music biz in particular that you want to address? And when I say you're part of the community, okay? It's not just me. I got my own ride and my own trip that I've taken for 30 years in this industry, but I'm really a little bit keen to sort of find out what someone else's story is and what it is that they're curious about. And the thing is Bear could give Nick can give Bear an idea. And success often is just about turning things over a little bit. It's about, you could be so close, but not there. It's like, I'll give you an example. All right, and this is just about input. You pick up a acoustic guitar. There's a song that I shared recently, and when I first wrote it, I wrote it with pick. It was a very straightforward kind of groove, and there's a great lyric, but someone said, why don't you finger pick that? And this is an example of bouncing something off, sharing something. And then when I went to finger pick, totally different feel. And if you don't share, you never get that feedback. And that feedback can be the differential between something being really good and really ordinary, whatever it may be. And that's just an example of bouncing off things in your community. All right, so I think I've gone on enough about it today. This was a good little experiment. Did this for about 10 minutes a couple of weeks ago just to try to understand how this works, dealing with questions and trying to get something out there. And I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep working. And I really appreciate your coming here, checking it out. Please leave a comment. If you're not following us on our channel, please do. Not just so you can listen to my silly videos, so you can listen to, or we feature different artists, and it gives you a chance to be able to go, hey, you know what? That person that is in Northern California, man, they put out a hell of a song. Or did you check out Nick in Brisbane? Wow, listen to that finger picking. That's what it's about. If you don't subscribe and you don't hit that button, I think it's a bell for notifications, you miss out on what may be a real gem that we're putting up. All right? So guys, you have a fantastic weekend, and you keep rocking, you keep writing, and we'll see you soon. Take care.